This is an elevated barbell deadlift. Now I've got my barbell on 2 risers. It could be risers, it could be bumper plates, something that's bringing you up. Now the height elevation can be either because we've got a slightly restricted mobility through our hips, or we're just really tall and have long femurs and it's hard for us to get into this bottom position. So if you're prescribed an elevated deadlift, you might be prescribed a certain height, or you might know what height you're working at that feels best for your body. So we're going to set up how we normally would for our deadlift. First thing that we want to think about is making sure that we have a nice stacked position through our rib cage. So we've got that slight tuck of the pelvis. Inhale through the nose, exhale all the air out. Make sure that your core is engaged here. Keep that tension. Or some people like to take a breath in and brace there, whichever method works for you. Now, 2 positions to set up for the arms. We want to make sure that the next cue is that we're engaged through our lats and our shoulders. Some people will set up by, once they have that stacked position, they've breathed in, they're going to actively reach their arms forward and then come into position here. Or I personally am a big fan of thinking about corkscrewing my shoulder blades into the socket, and that allows me to feel that lat engagement, whichever variation works for you. The next thing that we want to think about is our connection to the ground. Here we're creating tension by thinking, spread the floor apart a little bit, but keep the whole foot connected to the ground. Now, if somebody tried to push me from the side, I would be nice and rigid. That's the tension we want to have throughout the entire deadlift. From here, set up, rib cage stacked, lats engaged, hinge through the hips. Hand position is usually about a thumb distance away, is what I find is ideal. From here, I set the shoulders if I lost that by corkscrewing in. Now I take the slack out of the bar. What that means is that you can hear that little clicking noise right there. So I initiate the pull to take tension out of the bar, then I push through the ground, stand up tall. Keep the bar close. Nice neutral spine. Two of the most common mistakes with the deadlift are, 1, people lose that lat engagement. Another cue that I really like is bend the bar. They lose that and then they begin to round through that upper back. We want to keep a nice neutral spine the entire time. We're moving at our hip. Now, if you're hypermobile too, a lot of people can move through their low back as well. So we want to make sure that we're moving at the hip. The second mistake that I see that's really common is people stop using the ground. We are generating force and bringing the barbell up by pushing down into the ground. And that's allowing our hips to naturally extend, as opposed to us extending through and moving through our low back. Our low back is working in order to stabilize us and keep us in that nice neutral position. It's not actually moving in position. All of the movement is coming through our hips.